The emergency klaxons screamed through the corridors of Research Station Kepler-7, their shrill wails echoing off titanium walls as emergency lighting bathed everything in hellish red. Commander Zixtal's forearms worked frantically at his console, his chitinous exoskeleton clicking with nervous tension. "Status report," he barked, his translator rendering his native clicks and whistles into standard galactic. "The Devourer has broken free from containment cell Alpha 9, reported Lieutenant Kuara, her tentacles writhing with barely contained panic. "All security protocols have failed. The electromagnetic restraints, the neural dampeners, even the quantum locks all compromised. On the main view screen, security feeds showed twisted metal and sparking electronics where the most secure containment unit in the galaxy had once stood. The Devourer, a writhing mass of shadow and fury from the nightmare dimension of Vexmore, had torn through barriers that could have held a supernova. Evacuation protocols are in effect," Kuara continued, her voice trembling. "All personnel are fleeing to the escape pods, but—" She gestured helplessly at another screen showing the creature's rampage through the station's lower levels. Zixtal's mandibles clicked in despair, 3 years of research gone in minutes. The Devourer had been their greatest prize, a being of pure malevolence that fed on psychic energy and grew stronger with each mind it consumed. They had thought they could study it safely, perhaps even weaponize it against their enemies. They had been catastrophically wrong. "Sir," came a calm voice from behind them. "Perhaps I should take a look." Both aliens turned to see Dr. Sarah Chen, the lone human researcher assigned to their xenobiology department. She stood in the doorway, seemingly unaffected by the chaos around them, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Human Chen," Zixtal chittered urgently, "you must evacuate immediately. The Devourer will what?" Sarah interrupted gently, already moving toward the security console. "Eat my brain? I've met my ex-husband's mother. This can't be worse than Thanksgiving dinner." She pulled up the live feeds, studying the creature as it rampaged through the hydroponics bay. The Devourer stood nearly 3 meters tall, its form constantly shifting between solid matter and roiling darkness. Tentacles of pure nightmare lashed out, destroying everything in reach. "Fascinating," Sarah murmured, pulling something from her lab coat pocket. "I think I see the problem." "The problem?" Lieutenant Kuara's tentacles writhed in disbelief. "The problem is that an interdimensional horror is loose on our station." "No," Sarah said patiently. "The problem is that someone's hangry." Before either alien could stop her, Sarah had left the command center and was walking calmly through the station's corridors toward the creature's location. Emergency lighting flickered overhead as she strolled past panicking researchers fleeing in the opposite direction. She found the Devourer in what remained of the mess hall, its massive form hunched over the ruins of the food dispensers. Up close, she could see it more clearly. Beneath the writhing shadows and otherworldly menace, there was something almost pitiful about it. "Hey there, big guy," Sarah called out softly. The Devourer whirled toward her, its form expanding to its full terrifying height. Psychic waves of pure malice washed over her, projected emotions of hunger and rage and endless consuming need. Most sentient beings would have been driven instantly insane. Sarah just smiled wider and held up what she'd taken from her pocket, a simple chocolate bar from Earth, slightly melted from the station's heating systems. "I know that look," she said conversationally. "My nephew gets the same way when he misses snack time. You're not evil, are you? You're just hungry and scared and probably haven't eaten anything decent in, well, ever, judging by the nutritional paste they've been feeding you." The Devourer paused in its advance, shadowy tendrils wavering uncertainly. Sarah unwrapped the chocolate bar and broke off a piece. "I bet nobody's ever offered you real food, have they? Just those awful protein cubes and synthetic nutrients. Here, try this." She tossed the piece of chocolate toward the creature. A tentacle of shadow caught it, and for a moment the Devourer's form solidified enough to reveal something almost like a mouth. It consumed the chocolate, and Sarah could swear she saw its posture change. "Good, right?" She took a step closer. "That's real cocoa from Earth. We humans figured out a long time ago that most problems can be solved with the right snack and a friendly conversation." The Devourer's psychic emanations shifted, confusion replacing rage. Sarah held out another piece of chocolate. "Look, I get it. You're trapped in a dimension that isn't yours, poked and prodded by scientists who don't understand you. fed nothing but artificial nutrients that probably taste like cardboard. No wonder you're cranky. She smiled that same gentle smile. But destroying everything isn't going to get you home, is it? The creature's form began to shrink, shadows coalescing into something more solid and less terrifying. Sarah could see now what her colleagues had missed. This wasn't a monster at all. It was a lost, frightened being, lashing out because it was the only way it knew how to communicate. "There we go," Sarah said encouragingly, offering the rest of the chocolate bar. "My grandmother always said you catch more flies with honey than vinegar." Of course, she also said, "Never trust a man who doesn't like dogs." But that's neither here nor there. By the time the security teams arrived, having finally worked up the courage to investigate the sudden silence, they found Dr. Sarah, Chen sitting cross-legged on the floor of the ruined mess hall, sharing her lunch with what appeared to be a large, somewhat sheepish-looking creature that bore only a passing resemblance to the nightmare horror from the security feeds. "Chen to command," she said into her comm unit, not looking up from where she was teaching the devourer how to properly appreciate a peanut butter sandwich. "Crisis resolved. Also, we're going to need to revise our xenobiology protocols, and maybe stock the commissary with better snacks." Commander Zixtal's voice crackled through the comm, filled with disbelief. What did you? "Turns out," Sarah said, scratching behind what might have been the creature's ear, "sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or weapons or containment fields. Sometimes it's just basic empathy and a willingness to share your lunch." The devourer, who Sarah had started thinking of as Dave, rumbled what sounded almost like a purr. "Also," she added, "we should probably work on getting Dave back to his home dimension. I have a feeling his family's worried about him." As word of the incident spread throughout the galactic community, it became another chapter in the growing legend of human unpredictability. While other species built bigger weapons and stronger containment fields, humans apparently chose to pack snacks and make friends. The universe, many agreed, was a stranger place than they had ever imagined.